A very good day to everyone. My name is Sharon Shekinah and my group members are Kimli Te Sihwa, Lo Ninacha, and Tong Poisan. And today we are going to be presenting about Kuala Lumpur Bajau Travel Guide. So basically this is a guidebook for young travelers who wants to visit Kuala Lumpur under budget, and this guidebook also mentions ways of cognitive psychology and psychology learning that can be used throughout your travel journey here as a budget traveler.
Okay, so I will be sharing on this part of Malaysia overview. So Malaysia is actually a ethnically diverse and multi-religious country in the Southeast Asia, which is considered one of the most advanced and richest after Singapore and Brunei. So Malaysia gains its independence on August 31st, 1957, which later Singapore, Sabah, and Sarawak joined the Federation of Malaya on September 16, 1963. Since then, the term Malaysia was used, and it was used even the withdrawal of Singapore in August 9, 1965. So that is where Malaysia got its name. So just to proceed, so in Malaysia is separated into two geographical zones, which is the Peninsular Malaysia and also the East Malaysia. So let's just explain about what is meant by Peninsular Malaysia. So Peninsular Malaysia, or also known as West Malaysia, is actually a largest zone in Malaysia, and also it is broadened to certain extent from the north till the Thailand border, and also the south till the Malaysian-Singapore border. Whereas in East Malaysia, there are there are 2 or 3 countries included, which is Indonesia, Sultanate of Brunei, and also we do have another 2 states, which is Sabah and Sarawak. So the tallest peak in Malaysia is none other than the Mount Kinabalu, and also the aggregate size of Malaysia is 329,847 kilometers square. So this is somewhere bigger than Norway and slightly bigger than the United States of New Mexico. So in Malaysia, there are a few languages we use, but however, the national language that we talk is that we communicate is none other than the Malay language. So in Malaysia, the national religion is Islam, which is around 60% of the population is Muslim. The rest are Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, Catholic, and etc. So yeah.
Kuala Lumpur is the most stunning city and capital of Malaysia. The city is mainly defined by its rich natural reserve and colorful culture, and is the largest city in Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur accomplished its status in 1972 and now is the most prosperous city for housing and tourism. It is also characterized by an equatorial climate, which is sunny and tepid throughout the year. The temperature dropped by a few degrees for a present night, and the city received a plentiful rainfall from April to September. Kuala Lumpur has a filled cityscape with gleaming colonial architecture and a skyscraper. Malaysia capital city is widely recognized with many landmarks, including Batu Cave and the Twin Towers of Petronas and the market of Petaling Street. And the city main hub was known as a Golden Triangle, which is contains KLCC, Bukit Bintang, and the most famous Chinatown. The most expensive mall like Surya KLCC and the Pavilion KL are the largest attraction in the city. Tourism in Kuala Lumpur is popular because of the numerous attractions, like both man-made and natural found in the city. The famous landmark in the world, like the Petronas Towers, are the tallest twin tower. The steel towers and the magnificent chrome light up the skyline of Kuala Lumpur at night, beckoning locals, tourists, and people to enjoy the numerous attractions. And lastly, the world's fifth tallest building, Menara KL, is the most popular destination in Kuala Lumpur.
The purpose of this handbook is to provide a comprehensive guide of attractions, accommodations, and food recommendations while balancing costs, time, and safety. It allows you to achieve and experience everything at once, while at the same time you can save time, money, and also ensure your own personal safety.
Next, we'll discuss about best food. Chinese, Indian, Malay, and Western food are commonly found in Kuala Lumpur, and the multicultural social mix in KL is creating an extensively widespread food blend. The roadside store and markets are great places for eating hawker food. Jalan Alor was one of the famous street food markets. Little Chinatown and Indian has also many inexpensive food stores that serve the city's most delightful or delicious food items. As the majority are Muslim population, beef and chicken are commonly halal. Nasi lemak is the official national dish in coconut milk, fragrant rice cooked, flavored with pandan leaf, and escorted by various sides, particularly served as a breakfast. Kuala Lumpur Food Street is legendary in both flavor and cost, and it's easy to find food under 10 ringgit per dish and street food under 17 to 20 ringgit per dish. The few best street food in Kuala Lumpur are nasi lemak, satay, char kway teow, pork noodle, rojak, nasi kandar, ramly burger, cendol, and each. There are many food that famous in Kuala Lumpur that attracts a lot of travelers to taste and
5 food stalls and restaurants with reasonable price that I highly recommend you try when you're at Kuala Lumpur. The first one is Nasi Lemak Tanglin. So, when you're in Malaysia and wondering what to eat, and you decide to ask the locals what you should try, and the local with no doubt will ask you to try Nasi Lemak. So basically, a standard Nasi Lemak consists of coconut rice, crispy anchovies, boiled egg, and anchovy sambal. And if you're currently unsure which Nasi Lemak to try, since there are plenty to choose from, try Nasi Lemak Tanglin. Why Nasi Lemak Tanglin? So, Nasi Lemak Tanglin was one of the contenders in Foodball Asia, a show on Food Network Asia that pits two institutions against one another to determine which one served the better dish on the Nasi Lemak episode. In that show, the battle was between Nasi Lemak Tanglin and Village Park Restaurant Nasi Lemak. And the winner was Nasi Lemak Tanglin because their sambal taste hit difference. Besides that, Tanglin is also famous for their sotong sambal. And Tanglin is one of the oldest Nasi Lemak restaurant in Malaysia. And the price for standard Nasi Lemak at Tanglin is 3 ringgit and 44 cents. And the Nasi Lemak sambal sotong price is 8 ringgit and 20 cents. Next, Ramly Burger. So there are plenty of Ramly Burger in Malaysia, and the Ramly Burger that we recommend you to try when you Kuala Lumpur is Brother John Burger. Ramly Burger in Malaysia is a famous street food burger, and is available across the country. This burger might look different compared to other burgers you have seen, and it's only available in Malaysia because of how greasy it looks. The burger is highly recommended to try is the Ramly Beef Special. This burger is one grilled beef patty that covered with egg and lettuce, onion and tomato on top with sweet chili with mayonnaise, and the taste is unlike other hamburgers you have ever tried. In Kuala Lumpur, one Brother John burger is highly recommended. Well, for the price of Brother John burger, it's the price range is 3 ringgit 66 cent to 12 ringgit 55 cent, and the operation hours of this Brother John burger food truck is at 8:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning. The next food that we will recommend you to try is roti canai. Roti canai is pretty popular here in Kuala Lumpur and also in Malaysia. What is roti canai? A standard roti canai is an Indian flatbread dish that is paired up with dal or curry of your choice. And the place that we recommend you to try in Kuala Lumpur is at Mansion Tea Stall. Why? If you're planning to eat at Mansion Tea Stall, try Roti Canai Special. Roti Canai Special is a different roti canai compared to a standard roti canai, and it's in the form of shredded paratha, drenched in a pool of curry, some chilies, and 2 soft-boiled eggs. This restaurant is also serving teh tarik, and in the restaurant, the teh tarik is known as teh ding dong. And teh tarik is a milk tea that is served either hot or cold, and teh tarik is consumed throughout the day from breakfast to dinner in Malaysia. Well, the restaurant operation hours at 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. and the price for Roti Canai Special is 3 ringgit 87 cent, and the price for Teh Ding Dong is 2 ringgit 23 cent. The next food that we recommend you try when you're in Malaysia is Tajuddin Biryani. Biryani is a mixed rice dish originating among Muslims of the Indian subcontinent, and this biryani is made with Indian spices. Rice usually come with some meat, and sometimes it comes with egg and potato. Tajuddin Biryani restaurant is an Indian Muslim style of biryani, and the Tajuddin Biryani has great flavors and it's light enough so that you don't really get sleepy after eating full meal. And the operation hours for Tajuddin Biryani is at 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And the standard price for Tajuddin Biryani is 7 ringgit. The next dessert that Malaysia loves is ais kacang. Ais kacang literally means bean rice, also commonly known as ABC, and it's a Malaysian dessert that is commonly known in Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei. Traditionally, it's an ice shaving machine that is being used to shave out the ice, and is used in the dessert, and they do add some beans and condensed milk and other ingredients to make the dish taste good. So the place that we recommend you to try ais kacang is at ABC Kedai Batu number 22, and the operation hours is at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it's closed on Tuesdays. The price of the ais kacang in ABC Kedai number 22. For cognitive psychology, different capabilities and capacities are the 2 major types of memory that are recognized in cognitive psychology. Long-term memories has a large capacities, and it contains memory and experiences of information that can be applied over a lifetime. In order to have a long-term memory of food choices, good food is important to have those memories be accumulated for a lifetime. And to be able to do that, you can search it through Google reviews or even ask the locals for suggestion on which is the best food to try in Kuala Lumpur. And through tasting good food, it can lead travelers to have a long-term memory on the food that they tasted.
The knowledge of psychology of learning that is helpful for travelers. In human, many characteristics of psychology predict the tendency to choose food in a destination like Kuala Lumpur. Tourists who travel to KL, when they visit, they are confused about which category of food they have to buy and eat. Here, psychology of learning help tourists choose nasi lemak, a famous food in this destination. Here, the psychology of learning help tourists remember when they plan for a trip and eat nasi lemak.
The recommended accommodation that we found is Ceylon Suites, and it's a rather new hotel in Kuala Lumpur. I would say it's a hidden gem because not many people know about the existence of this hotel. It is located in the central business district of Kuala Lumpur, and the suites here have been designed with 39 floors and a neo-urban lifestyle design. The best thing about this hotel is the location of it and the pricing. Travelers can have easy access to the nearby landmarks such as KL Tower, Bukit Bintang, KL's financial district, Pavilion, and KLCC. So discover a holistic lifestyle balance where you can relax in a lush and natural environment outdoors. Not only the hotel is cheap and the price is reasonable, but it also offers a wide range of facilities such as the fitness center, the garden, the on-site golf course, the swimming pool, and also a bar. The nearby landmarks include KL Forest Park, KL Tower, Central Market, and Chinatown. We recommend to use the app Agoda to book rooms because Agoda is super easy to use and you can easily access your booking details anytime, anywhere. The approximate price per night ranges from RM 145 to RM 368, which is an equivalent US currency of USD 30.60 to USD 77.67. If you are visiting during the holidays or during seasons like Christmas, then the price will definitely be higher for one night. So it's best if you visit on ordinary or working days and avoid public holidays or peak seasons in Malaysia. We have implied positive reinforcement into traveling. So, for example, just now I've mentioned about the hotel and its great location as it is nearby to some popular attractions. The rule of thumb in positive reinforcement is that the consequence of behavior is the appearance of or an increase in the intensity of a stimulus. This stimulus is referred to as a positive reinforcer. The desirable stimulus reinforces the behavior, and the behavior will reoccur more often. Now, when the hotel is near to attractions, for instance, KL Tower, the traveler will be encouraged to visit that tower, that attraction more often. The positive reinforcer is the location of the tower. As it is only 500 meters away from the hotel, it is easy to reach there because it is only a walking distance away. Positive reinforcers will increase the frequency or the probability of behavior. Hence, the location of KL Tower strengthens the behavior of visiting as it is nearby and convenient. The traveler feels rewarded to go there as it is easy to reach there.
So, according to the theories that I have learned throughout the cognitive psychology, right, the one that is suited the most for that is helpful for travelers to identify their accommodation is none other than the theory of the visual perception that I have learned in chapter 2. So according to this one theory, which is known as the feature analysis theory as defined by Gordon in 2004, he identifies a number of features or components of visual stimuli. In visual stimuli, there is one this one part that we captures how we see or how we perceive is none other than the distinctive feature. And the distinctive feature is one of the visual characteristics of an object. This will indirectly enables travelers to easily identify their hotels or homestays by noticing the nearby public transportation around the hotel and also its own distinctive feature as well. So a bottom-up processing approach emphasizes how important of the stimulus characteristics for the travelers to identify their accommodation. In particular, the sense receptors register these stimuli from the environment. Higher, more sophisticated levels in the perception system then receive this information, and this will influence how a person's concepts, expectations, and memories affect how they recognize that particular objects using another processing level, which is known as the top-down processing. So these high-level mental processes support object identification in a more detailed manner. With that, the travelers became quick at recognizing objects, especially when it comes to the location of their accommodation. This results the early processing of visual stimuli will be guided by the traveler's expectation at the higher or the upper level of the visual system. For instance, the travelers were able to notice the Ceylon Hotel based on its external features and also its nearby notable landmarks.
Now we will move on to discuss about the interesting attractions in Kuala Lumpur. The first attraction is KL Forest Eco Park. If you are inclined to nature and want to engage with the environment, this place would be a perfect option. KL Forest Eco Park is one of Malaysia's oldest permanent forest reserves. Gazetted in 1906, KL Forest Eco Park is surrounded by a jungle in the form of buildings and skyscrapers. This rainforest is also home to many flora and fauna, as well as animals such as monkeys, birds, snakes, and squirrels. Joggers can trek on the forest trail, and there is even an outdoor obstacle course where stretching and body lifting can be done. However, do keep in mind that there are some slopes along the forest trails that are quite steep. So, with all the excitement going on, please remember to take care of your own safety first. The ideal dress code would be sportswear with long pants, and hiking or running shoes would be preferable. For the operating hours, the park is open every day except for Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The address and the entry fees are also attached here. Children under 6 years old and persons with disabilities are free of charge, while entry fees may differ for adults, children between 6 to 12 years old, and senior citizens. The next attraction is Central Market. The hawkers and sellers at Central Market contributed to Malaysia's tourism industry by constantly promoting Malaysian arts, handicrafts, and souvenirs to both locals and foreigners. To reflect Malaysia's colorful culture, Central Market features zones with shops, stalls, and kiosks that highlight the three main races found in Malaysia. These zones are known as Lorong Melayu, Lorong Cina, and Lorong India. Melayu stands for Malay, China stands for Chinese, and India represents the Indians. There's another zone known as Lorong Kelapa, which, if we translate Kelapa into English, it literally means coconut. This lane is known for all kinds of traditional Malay snacks, from crackers and cakes to sweets and fried goodies. Definitely don't miss out because Central Market really is a heaven where you can shop for handicrafts, art, kebaya, songket, batik, and a whole wide variety of Malaysian food. The building of Central Market is also very significant and easy to recognize because it's painted in blue, so it is easy to spot the location. Prices for souvenirs here are considered the lowest in the city. While there are no tickets for Central Market, you can always go for an extra deal by spending small money. Do check out their official website for more information on their history. Central Market is open every day from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And of course, you do not want to miss out the most popular attraction in the whole entire country of Malaysia. KLCC is one of the most iconic engineering feats of Malaysia. Whether you want to go shopping, bowling, movies, experience the science center in here, or go for food hunting, this is exactly where you need to be. Travelers may experience shopping, dining, and entertainment under one roof with more than 360 specialty stores within a world-class complex of 1 million square feet. There are so much activities you can do, such as visiting Aquaria KLCC, Lake Symphony, Petroscience Discovery Center, KLCC Park, and so much more. KLCC also has a classic sky bridge that connects the Twin Towers together, and it provides a breathtaking view of the city. It was originally built for safety measures and precautions. It functions as a fire escape route in case anything happens. The website and the address are also attached here, and operating hours are every day from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. These are a few examples of the activities that can be found in KLCC. If you enjoy exploring fishes and the underwater world, Aquaria KLCC is an interesting place that you should go. It is open every day from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. However, last entries are at 6 p.m., so do keep that in mind and plan your visit. Then we also have Lake Symphony, also known as Esplanade. There is no charge, so feel free to visit there whenever you like. And if you want to see the light show, head over to the lake at 7:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m., or 9:30 p.m. Finally, we have the Science Discovery Center, Petroscience. If you brought children along your trip, this would be a dreamland for them because it's a fun and interactive world where they get to discover science, space, technology, and more. Or if you yourself are into science, this science center is perfect for you, and it is always the favorite attraction among visitors. In a fixed ratio schedule, behavior is reinforced when it has occurred a fixed number of times. Researchers stated that FR schedule is predictable. For instance, we assume that travelers fix to visit 2 attractions at a time and take a break later by sitting down at a restaurant to eat and drink before continuing to another 2 attractions. Therefore, behavior is reinforced every time travelers visit 2 destinations, and the reinforcers here are food and drinks. After eating and drinking, travelers may chat among themselves before traveling to the next 2 destinations. Chatting can be perceived as a post-reinforcement pause, which refers to a pause in responding that usually occurs after the delivery of the reinforcer on FR schedules of reinforcement. Traveling for long periods without pay is aversive, and travelers escape by not traveling for a while. Chatting allows the travelers to take a break, that is, pause for a short time, before setting to travel to the next destination. According to Cherry, FR schedules typically lead to high rates of response that follow a burst pause burst pattern.
So according to what the lessons that I have learned in cognitive psychology, one of the applications that I have learned is none other than the isolated feature or combined feature effect in attention and consciousness. So according to this effect, right, people can typically locate an isolated feature more quickly than a combined feature. For instance, travelers were able to locate the hotel that they are based on the distinctive feature of the hotel or its nearby famous landmarks. This is similar to those of the feature present or feature absent effect, in which people can typically identify a feature that is present rather than the feature that is absent. So this also applies when the travelers are finding either their accommodation, intended places of attractions, nearby eateries, or even nearby transportations around their accommodation. So for instance, the reason why we choose Central Market and also the KL Forest Eco Park is that its uniqueness, its isolated feature rather than the combined feature itself.
For the packing essentials, travel umbrella is needed because the weather in Malaysia can be unpredictable because it can suddenly rain, so don't forget to bring an umbrella around when you're in Malaysia. Next, camera is important too if you want to capture the beautiful experience of city in Kuala Lumpur. Next, sunscreen is important because when you're exploring cities in Kuala Lumpur, it's important to protect your skin from the sun. Sports shoe is highly recommended if you prefer to walk around KL. For slippers, if you're walking nearby to your hotel, then slippers is important, or if you're in your hotel room, you can wear slipper too. Next, it's important to bring passport copy and identity document. Same goes to face masks. It's important, especially if you're in the crowded area or in the public transport, in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It's important also to bring a proof of vaccination card. Brim hat is also important because although sunscreen is important, that is not the only thing that can protect your skin. By wearing a brim hat, it can protect your scalp from the weather. At the same time, it can help to provide protection in your face too.
Travelers are commonly seen as an easy target by scam artists, thieves, and pickpockets. So next, I will explain the 5 types of tourist scam in Kuala Lumpur. The first one is picture scam. It is popular in Kuala Lumpur, like when a local asks to take tourists pictures. The local will hand their camera and they usually ask to take pictures. But when giving back the camera, they will blame the damage and demand for the money. To avoid this type of scam, one must refuse to take the photos. The second one is overcharging taxi, like when Grab are unavailable in a particular destination or times, the tourists will use the local taxi. In KL, it is necessary to make sure to turn on the meter. The third one is the bird pool scam. When travelers walking in the street of Kuala Lumpur, when anyone throw a white-based bead, people's intention was it was a natural bird pool. Instantly, local friendly offer to clean, and they will pick the tourist pocket when they clean the bird pool. To avoid this type of scam, it's required to keep the cards or the money in the internal pockets or in the bag. Next, friendly bar friends. Like when visiting a bar in KL, it's required to be aware of particular scam, like small talking with a guy or girl and drinking with them. Like after a couple shot, they usually offer chips in short amounts when the tourists won't pay, and they were escorted by the bodyguard at the ATM to withdraw cash for the bill. For this type of issue, checking the bar menu since arrival is necessary. And the last one is a friendly ATM helper. In Kuala Lumpur, when anyone approached the ATM cash machine, helped to avoid bank fees, and the true intention behind that was a credit or debit with a skimmer of the card in the pocket. Next, we'll discuss about the knowledge of cognitive psychology that is helpful for travelers. Cognitive psychology helps travelers to know what other people think. It more focused on how the interaction of emotion, thinking, and problem-solving abilities affect the mind of tourists. Cognitive thinkings play an essential role in the life of traveler for making a crucial decision in the internal process. It includes attention, perception, memory, language, and thinking. Psychologically, traveling, speaking, and adventuring enables one to meet a new people, group, or partners. It's also said that traveling helps in inspiring artistic qualities. All these factors of psychological learning helps travelers significantly. For example, cognitive psychological approach help travelers avoid tourist scams like ATM skimming. As one of our friends has traveled to Kuala Lumpur, he already knows about the card skimming device that are usually installed on ATMs. For this reason, he ensures that he covers the pad of the number with the other hand while entering his code. Or he only carries credit cards with no fee on foreign currency and exchange his cash from KL local banks. Thus, he avoided ATM scam with the help of cognitive psychology. The knowledge of psychology learning that is helpful for travelers. The psychology of travel mainly refers to the emotional, mental, and behavioral patterns tourists experience. It contains decision during travel, motivation, managing stress, cultural reaction, and influences, and the action involved in going and planning on travels. It's also proven that traveling helps decrease stress, enhance creativity, boost self-esteem, and enable travelers to learn about themselves and new culture. Physiological influence directly help the travelers. It helps bring adventures to grow, and exploring new areas of the world help a lot by meeting new people, seeing different cultures, and trying new foods. It also helps in knowing how people living in particular countries like Malaysia. It is also found that traveling alone is a new prescription which takes impressive mental growth. For example, knowledge of psychology learning plays a key role in avoiding tourist scams. For example, when tourists drink or eat outside the table in KL, they will usually approached by children who sell trinkets or flowers. It is famous for food work by begging groups. Here, people are very smart. They show that they are very poor and take a huge amount of money by telling a lie. Travelers avoid paying money to those innocent faces who tell lies to earn the money. Thus, tourist psychology of learning avoid scam, and the same apply to the taxi driver as they charge extra money. Here, tourists set their location of Google Map to avoid extra charge from taxi in Kuala Lumpur.
To visit Kuala Lumpur, 3 to 4 days will be good enough to explore the city. So spending 220 ringgit per day will be the recommended amount for travelers under budget, and it usually costs about 50 ringgit on meals for a person for 1 day and 30 ringgit on local transportations. And the average price of a hotel in Kuala Lumpur for 2 people will be 263 ringgit. Ways of psychology of learning is being used. So when it comes to observational learning, it involves gaining skills or changing behavior, and it all depends on the individual itself through watching the behavior. Observational learning explains that the learning process through watching others and retaining the information and later replicating the behavior that we observe. The most fundamental way that an individual can learn is through observation. And the observational learning that can be applied when travelers are in Kuala Lumpur is when they are currently unsure when to visit. They can check through the websites or even YouTube videos related on how many days is enough to visit Kuala Lumpur under budget. And this requires an observational skills. Besides that, observing a long queue at a restaurant or a tourist attraction place can help travelers to decide whether to go to the restaurant or the tourist attraction place based on the observation. Besides that, comparing the price of the accommodation through reviews is also an observational skills. The overall conclusion is based on what has been discussed in this guidebook. It can be seen that the goal here is to provide a good guide on the attraction and the best accommodation, also good food in Kuala Lumpur under budget as a traveller. And this guidebook shows that it is possible for world travellers to want to travel to Kuala Lumpur under budget. And this guidebook also brief about the type of tourist scam that can happen here in Kuala Lumpur so that you can be aware of your surroundings. And cognitive psychology and psychology of learning plays a big role to guide travellers when they're in Kuala Lumpur in this guidebook. So that's all from us. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.